Hello， 我是加菲猫。
我是韩大狗，他是
Alright, we need to speak English. So we watched the movie titled Juan Wawa.
抓娃娃。
Juan Wawa. I really like it. I really enjoyed it. Oh, how about you?
It was fun. It was funny for me.
But you mentioned some people feel uncomfortable or kind
Yeah.
of like remind like a painful days
Yeah.
in your life, right?
Yeah, because that that movie basically are getting very extreme comments from people, and I got the feeling of this movie better put like a trigger warning at the beginning, because for people who experienced what is going on in the movie, could find this movie is kind of scary.
You mean the Gao Gao?
No, it's more like how you didn't know your parents has been manipulating you throughout your life.
Oh yeah, it's kind of interesting concept. So it's maybe there is some spoiler, but like a overall story is like a parents. Parents try to educate on kids for their good, for their best, right? And then that how they treat the kids is extremely, extremely educational, right? And then I feel I'm grown up in the environment totally opposite. So my parents give me tons of freedom and there's no guidance, right? But what happened in the movie, the parents give too much control. There's many guardrails there, and then I feel like I think like it's kind of social norm, right? In China, oh, you better go to the good university to get in the Chinbei. Like you need to do your best, right? And then I feel it's I don't know. It's like kind of for me good and bad. I don't say it's totally bad, but I don't say it's totally good. It's like a middle ground could be like you need to tone down a bit, but still it's good guide for the kids.
So I feel like maybe for me the turning point of the movie happens at the point where the kid find out he was interested in running, and also like one of the best coach in the city came to his place and tried to offer some special education to the boy. I thought until that point I thought it's kind of normal, because I feel like it's okay that a family that are rich offers everything they could to train their kids to become elites in the future. But I'm trying to not category, or I'm not trying to judging what kind of jobs are considered as elites, because for me, if you become like an Olympic athlete in running, I think it's still very successful. But see, I think that's where the movie start turning, is even you want to be an athlete, it's not acceptable for the family, because they want you to inherit the company from the parents.
And
So you can't
also,
do
like,
whatever you want.
becoming like a top athlete is much tougher than becoming an entrepreneur or business owner.
Yeah, it could be, but I mean, I understand the so-called elite education, but I feel until the part people talking about elite education, I think it's still acceptable, but it's become manipulation when you want to narrow down your kid's choice of life to
But I feel
minimal.
like an issue with trying to being the top athlete is okay. If you decide to this way, right? You might spend 24/7 to train yourself to be top athlete, right? And end up with someone like just like 1% of the top tier people can be top athlete, and the rest of them in the middle of the way, and they end up with ending the career, right? After they end the career, their career choice is very narrow.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, it's
But
true.
if you go to the Chinbei, if you said that, like I'm gonna go to the best school in the China, okay, 1%
Yeah.
of top tier go Chinbei, and then if you cannot make it, but still you can go to the to just a better university.
Yeah,
right?
I know
So-
what you're saying, but don't forget the English title of the movie. It's called Successor.
Yeah, I
So
know,
the
I know,
key
but
point is about you need to be trained specifically to have the capability to inherit the company from your parents. So that's why you don't have any choice of doing something different. Even you say, I'm gonna start my own business, it's not acceptable for some of the parents because no, you need to take over their business, the family, honors and everything from your parents. So, it's like your family is bigger than anything, than individual person.
Maybe, but I feel I don't know. Like aiming to enter the good university is nothing wrong for me.
Yeah, but I also didn't say it's wrong. I'm just saying that's where it's getting creepy. Is when you're even trying to decide what major your kids are gonna study.
But again, it's same. If you want to study music, top 1%, yeah, you can be a musician.
Yeah, but I
But
mean,
if you screwed up 90%, you don't have any choices
I know,
in
but
your life.
if you're actually having such a rich family like that, I think they can support you to become a good
But
musician.
they don't. It depends on parents, right? If they want to support, yes.
Yeah, but because there are like real life example, like I don't know how many people know, like Ariana Grande, she actually came from extremely rich family. So it's almost like, oh, my family is super rich, I'm good at singing, and I want to sing, and my family can support me to become a successful singer. Yeah, so I feel like, so I understand if you're born in the middle class family, your parents want you to go a specific way to make sure you live a good life and don't pick up something like art or music because
Yeah.
it's understandable.
Right.
But I feel it's kind of suffering that you came from an extremely rich family, but you still don't have any freedom of doing anything.
Yeah, but it depends on the parents, right?
Yeah,
Even
true.
your parents is a middle class, but they get tolerant to to having the kids chasing their dream. It's fine, right? So it doesn't related to if your parents are rich or not. It's more like a parent's choice.
Yeah, so I think eventually what is the most scary part of the movie is how parents trying to manipulate the kids with their own wish.
Oh, I don't think so because the main theme of the movie is the last part. Like last part, that saying things to the kids, right? And then it's kind of confess, right? And it's not just only like expression. I did everything for you. No, he mentioned another stuff, right? So which is a core idea of the movie, but I don't want to spoil that. So it's not just like a movie about manipulating kids.
It's
No.
all about like how parents' life also ruled by.
So last statement makes theme of the movie much more clear, which is not just only parents. Well, it's more like a social. It's more like a entire family issue.
But speaking of that, I got a feeling this is very subjective, and could be potentially offensive. But I feel a lot of Chinese parents actually proud of themselves that they devote everything to their kids.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
this kind of makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of them are like, yeah, so yeah, of course, everything I'm doing right now, the reason I'm working right now is all because of you. And they are so proud of that. So there's no way for them to realize, oh, I shouldn't live my whole life just for kids. Like they cannot reflect on that.
Sorry, I don't understand your point.
Like a lot of Chinese parents, they are very proud of like
Do
how
they regret if kids screwed up to enter the good university?
regret on what?
What they did. They regret, what I was doing is not enough to make him enter university.
Yeah. They only regret that they didn't do enough. They never regret on, oh, I did too much. That's an interesting part.
But
Because
what is a general idea acceptance level of the success?
in China,
Yeah.
I think a lot of the parents use themselves as a parameter. So which means they hope their kids will be living a better life than theirs.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. So if your parents graduated like a normal university, if kids go to a bit better university, that makes them
Yeah,
feel
of course.
proud of it.
Yeah, of course they wish that you could go to the best. But if you didn't make it but end up getting somewhere that better than theirs, maybe it's still acceptable. But if you're going somewhere worse than their education, they probably won't be able to accept it.
I see. Because it's kind of interesting idea because I do not have any pressure from parents, right? Just decided what I'm doing, even education, right? But in your case, from my point of view, your career direction shaped by your parents, and you don't have any will.
I would say actually that were the things I was thinking about when we were on the way. I was thinking about, did I make full decision on what I'm doing right now? I would say my family is like very balanced on the parents' wish and my wish, because one basic, I would say one foundation of communication between me and my parents is that we always trying to persuade each other when we make decisions. So it's not like, in the movie drama, they were like lying to kids in order to manipulate him, right? But in my case with my parents, we always had a very honest conversation. So they tell me, this is the reason XYZ, I want you to do this and I don't want you to do that. Does it make sense to you? If it makes sense, I'd be like, okay, I'll take your advice.
So what part you decided? What part maybe your parents convince you to do so?
So the original story, when I was young and facing the future, the choice of future career, was when I was choosing high school. I told my mom I want to study music, and my mom was like, music won't bring any money to you, but I know you love art. It's a creative job. I know you love like creative work in general. So I was like, okay, then what about painting? Because it's also creative type of job. Mom was like, yeah, painting is a bit similar to music. Okay, what about let's find something in the middle? Like you are being creative, you can make something. It's artistic, but meanwhile it's a skill that you can learn to make money. And then we find the middle point, which is designer. So I agreed, and they agreed. So throughout my whole life, it's always like a compromising between me and parents. We're trying to convince each other on what I want to take, what I don't want to take. So until now, it's like I'm taking a lot of advice from my mom. But meanwhile, if it's something I really don't want, I don't take it. Like, for example, giving birth. My mom now is like trying everything she could to convince me to have kids. But I'm like, that's the only thing I cannot accept for now. So it's not like I'm blindly taking all the advice from my parents.
So what you decided by yourself?
I think, getting married with you, of course, is my full decision. And going master was my decision. Honestly, going PhD would be half-half. Because one hand, my mom has been always like trying to brainwash me how good being a PhD, getting a PhD is like.
Interesting because master degree is not on the table, but once you start having master degree education, PhD becomes like a parent's will as well.
No, like my mom had been telling me how good it is to have a PhD since I was very young.
What kind of the aspect of the good stuff you guys talking?
Because my parents, they've been living in the neighborhood where like everybody working in the university, right? So since I was young, they often trying to give me an impression of we're living in the community where there are all smart people, very educated people, and these people are good people because they're smart, they're very intelligent. So she keep
intelligent equal good people. It's kind of very biased.
I know, but that's how my parents.
Not more like a higher education equal to good people. It's very weird statement.
I know,
for me.
But that's the impression my parents was trying to create for me. And then I told you that story, right? When I was in university, there was opportunity like I could date with a guy who went to PhD, right? But because I didn't like him, so I didn't went with him. But my mom was like, "Oh, it's so unlucky of you that you're missing the chance to date with a PhD guy." She was like, unconsciously building up this image of, you should hang out with those like PhD people. They're so smart. They're so
Very
nice.
snob.
I know, but it worked.
What do you mean? What worked?
So that's why deep inside I feel PhD people are smart.
Maybe, may not be.
I don't know.
It depends on what is
But
smart, right?
but I'm talking from the perspective, when I was younger. But now, I'm about to complete my PhD, and I do recognize, more
Of
probably.
course, there's value, but
Yeah. I
like
do recognize the reality of higher education. So I'm not critiquing anyone here. But yeah, now I think differently. But I would say my mom brainwashing job was really working at the time. So, and also with that little bit anger pushed me at the time
But in
when I
that,
was applying.
with that being said, you agree with the parents pushing, makes a huge effort to, make the kids to go to the Chinbei. Because in your definition,
Yeah.
like higher education
Yeah.
or better education is one of the key to be good person, which is not good term, but at least knowledgeable.
Yeah. And
People
actually,
has more knowledge, but
I think it's not just me. I think it's just it's Chinese people in general have this, like fetish on higher education's degree.
look, I
Yeah.
feel like of course, if you have higher degree, better degree, Chinbei, or you have more choices, and then you can, you have more chances to get a better job,
Yeah.
good benefit, right? More choices, yeah, for sure. But issue is, it's very hard to enter Chinbei, right? And they end up with the movie telling us they sacrifice a lot, right? Kids sacrifice, and the parents also sacrifice. So I feel like, I don't know what's the best balance, but
So
I feel it's kind of like a movie telling it. It's we're in the extreme case right now. Just a bit toned down a bit and look at yourself. What you can do, what you are good at, what you like. It could be another option you can have, right?
But speaking of this, it reminds of some of the comments from internet or like Chinese social media about this movie. They're talking about the ending of the movie is a failure.
Why failure?
Because the movie looks like the movie is trying to critique this way of education, right? But it ended up the parents, they didn't reflect on what they have done, and also the kid also didn't really pursue a life that he wanted, and
What is what he wanted?
because you remember in the end of the movie, he still went through Gaokao with a good grade. So okay, I saw this comment online. Some people said they went with their parents, and when they saw the guy went to Gaokao again next year and still getting like over 700
I
point,
remember. Yeah.
and then she said her dad saying, "See, even this way of education, at least it worked."
You're all 700.
Yeah, so see, even you bring your parents to watch this movie, they will never reflect, that is wrong, or this movie is critiquing something. They think what the parents were doing was justified, and it's totally understandable.
But it's not totally justified, right? So let's say you want to enter the school A, has a good like art education. There's great professors, great facilities, and reputable, right? And there's another school B, it's a crappy one. And then how do you enter? Or you need to have the good Gaokao result, right? So it helps him. So I feel it still works, yeah. So having good score, having good education is not for the kids, it's not bad stuff. The way they did it was wrong, and the way it's like always extreme thing is not that good in many cases, right? You need to find a good balance. So that's kind of message I received from the movie.
So for me, at least the movie is successful because it seems like the audience who had a different experience interpreted the movie in different ways. So I feel that's successful artwork because people are getting different messages from the same work because of their own experience. So I'm sure there are some people, they feel very traumatized by the movie. But with my experience, I just feel the movie is funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, I could laugh at some part.
It's
But
movie.
I also understand if you went through something that was so horrible like that, it was it's not funny for you.
Yeah,
like,
of course, it's kind of scratch your feeling, right?
True.
So we watch Inside Out too, right? And then also some audience we watch it together is crying. But what happening in there is very general, like our thought happening, right? And then which is kind of just a trigger, and you remind you actually your experiences, which scratch your heart.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's good movies, one of the condition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think good movie is like something that everyone can get something out from, like that they want.
Relatable, and also it provides a lot of angle to watch.
Yeah, so I think it explains the reason why the comments are so extreme. It's because people all interpreting the movie from their own perspective. So yeah, so I would say at least you ponder the discussion. That's a good thing. So we're not looking for a right answer in here.
Yeah. All right. That's all.
Yeah, that's for today.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.